So for this camp, and any given day, Ryan wakes up and he runs like Forrest Gump. And he doesn't have to, but he does.
How you feel?
Amazing.
He said 7 punches not gonna do it. I said, if you didn't put in the contract that I can't throw more than 7 punches, then I'd throw more than that.
Because Ryan is an elite fighter, he's a knockout artist, among the best fighters in the world today. They want to take every step to try to control the amount of strength he's going to have the next day.
The day you sparring Ryan, just 2 days, right?
Yeah. Just like one day he like forgot his tampon, he just started bleeding over the place. So yeah. 52 years, bro. And it's in the hood, bro. It hasn't closed down yet. You know why? Because this place is good. Way more explain. Ryan's fast as shit. Ain't nobody gonna take Ryan's not one of the fastest fighters. And I look way faster at 47, way more explosive, way more durable.
This is where the story really starts. Not with trash talk, not with hype, but with work. Ryan Garcia isn't just training. He's rebuilding momentum brick by brick and bringing Rolando Romero into Camp Signal's intent. Speed, timing, confidence. This isn't casual preparation. It's controlled pressure. At a human level, this resonates because fans have seen Garcia at his most chaotic, and now they're seeing structure. Psychologically, people respond to visible discipline because it suggests growth. This isn't about flash anymore. It's about sharpening the weapon before the war with Mario Barrios.
Hey, go forward now. Yeah. Ahí, ándale, rico, arriba, abajo y arriba. Arriba, abajo, es. Adelante y atrás. Échale, hijo, 5 minutes here. And 1 and 1.
Day after day, the focus narrows. Speed, power, repetition. This is the unglamorous part that separates potential from performance. According to long-term fight data, elite fighters don't win because of single attributes. They win because fundamentals hold under fatigue. This calm, methodical grind contrasts sharply with Garcia's past narrative, and that contrast is the point. It signals seriousness. It tells the audience this camp isn't about headlines. It's about execution.
Stop! Una, dos, tres. Y luego 4 y 5. Las que están haciendo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Y aquí. Ya. 3, 4, 5. Y ahora. After. 3, 4.
Rolly Romero's presence adds friction, and friction creates sharpness. Every session carries intensity. Every exchange carries consequence. Psychologically, iron sharpens iron, and Garcia choosing a polarizing, aggressive figure like Romero suggests he wants discomfort. Critics will argue Raleigh is chaos, not structure, and that concern isn't irrational, but controlled chaos can force growth when talent risks stagnation.
Somebody's tired or feeling down that day, we're picking each other up.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
We feel so good. We're in this together.
We're like the same person, different hair color.
It's just good to have like-minded people that are ready to take advantage of the opportunities, and we're not going to let it slip. We're all building our own legacy, and when we get in the ring, you guys are going to see something special.
There's history here. Garcia and Romero have shared the ring before, and that familiarity breeds respect, not ego. Now, they train as equals, pushing rather than posturing. This matters because mutual respect inside camp reduces insecurity. Psychologically, when fighters stop proving and start preparing, efficiency skyrockets. This isn't rivalry, it's alignment.
Like that.
Mario Barrios isn't rattled. He's confident, calm, and leaning on experience. More rounds, more wars, more patience. From his perspective, this is simple math. Ring time equals advantage. According to fight outcome trends, experience becomes decisive when opponents make mistakes under pressure. Barrios is betting Garcia will blink. That confidence isn't loud, and that makes it dangerous.
Advantages I have coming to this fight is just overall just like everything. You know, my experience, you know, who I've been in the ring with, who I faced. I think, you know, the boxing IQ, I think I have that on my side. You know, heart. I think, yeah.
He does have experience.
Kellerman and Robert Garcia cut through the noise with a hard question. Structure. Talent has never been Ryan Garcia's issue. Governance has. Returning to his father raises eyebrows, not because of inexperience, but because of pattern. Moving through elite coaches and returning home suggests friction with authority. Critics will say his amateur foundation proves legitimacy. And it does. But elite boxing isn't about foundations. It's about ceilings. This is a calm, analytical concern, not a character attack.
Dad, which I'm not saying the dad is not, you know, the dad brought him through the amateurs, but when he left his dad or went to seek a different trainer, before he came back to his dad, he went through 3 different trainers.
Wow.
That means what do you mean? All 3 are not good enough to, you know, they're all 3
Here's
the best in the
Here's
world.
the question. Did Ryan Garcia ever allow those trainers to be the boss?
That's why he's back with his dad, because he's the boss. That's why.
Yeah.
Look, Joe Goossen, I know Joe Goossen. My brother used to train with him. He's not going to just let you get away with stuff like that. Derrick James shouldn't either. Eddie Reynoso doesn't need. He's made so much money with Canelo that if you want to come to me, it's going to be under my rules. And if that didn't work, then Ryan's back. So that's I get that.
Discipline is the invisible opponent. Kellerman's question lands because it targets control. Top trainers don't negotiate, they dictate. Fighters who resist structure often stall. According to long-term championship data, consistency beats brilliance when pressure peaks. Barrios, known for routine and size, thrives in structure. If instability exists in Garcia's camp, it could tilt the fight. This isn't drama. It's risk assessment.
Barrios to even pull that off.
See, that's the thing about boxing, and Big Baby Miller pointed it out, because there's no structure. Like, and hopefully that'll happen with Zuffa Boxing, and I am a part of Zuffa Boxing, full disclosure. You know, first fight coming up on the 23rd.
Oh, congrats, Max.
Congrats, but you need some kind of.
On that card,
there
so
you go.
Good.
You need some kind of.
Right?
So, well, the undercard has not been announced yet, but yeah, like we could talk about how.
What names, but yeah,
but we need some kind of structure. In the NFL, the guy has to sit there for the media interview. He shows up on time. Yep. He's got to do it. Yep. And to give you an NFL analogy, think about the Broncos, right? When they had Russell Wilson over there and he had his own office and everything, and it was nothing. It was dysfunctional. Then they hired Sean Payton.
Cut it out.
As a coach, that's like going to train with Goossen or going to train with a world-class trainer, right? And you knew as soon as Sean Payton got there, ain't no one's going to have their own office. And you turn around a couple years.
Wade Clemons reframes the entire debate with one question. Who leads whom? Joe Goossen's resume speaks for itself, and Barrios now operates under that system. The intrigue lies in overlap. Garcia's familiarity with Goossen's methods versus Barrios gaining fresh perspective. Psychologically, confidence becomes dangerous when it borders on certainty. Garcia believes he knows what's coming, but believing doesn't stop adjustments.
Interesting answer. I always wonder who makes a fighter, right? Especially in boxing, combat sports. Is it a coach that makes the fighter or the fighter that makes the coach? Now, Joe Goossen has a track record of being a high-level boxing coach. We know that. But do coaches change for fighters, or do they implement what they know to fighters and fighters change for coaches? Because this will be the crux of what happens here. Can Joe Goossen, not to call Mario Barrios old, but can he teach an old dog new tricks? Can he give him something that Bob Santos hasn't? Sure. Can he give him more info about what Ryan likes to do? Absolutely. But will it be enough to prepare him for what Ryan knows that Joe knows? And how Joe trains fighters, and how Joe runs a camp, and how rigid he might be. And even that last part, Ryan's talking about information leaking maybe from Joe, or that Joe was leaking information about Barrios, or about, I'm not sure who he was talking about, Ryan, about Barrios, but
hints of inside knowledge add narrative spice, but the substance lies elsewhere. This fight isn't just fists. It's alignment. Can Goossen elevate Barrios with new tools? Or does Garcia's familiarity neutralize them? Data from high-level bouts shows coach-fighter chemistry often determines late-round outcomes. Strategy doesn't win early. It wins when lungs burn and instincts fade. That's where this fight will be decided.
The chaos in the corner, or not maybe chaos, but kind of misdirection in the corner of the Manny Pacquiao fight, where Bob Santos is saying one thing and other cornermen are saying, that are, a part of Mario's kind of OG team, are saying another. I think it's pretty well known that I would assume well known that Mario Barrios' dad used to train him. And I don't know if he was in the corner or it was somebody else, but there was a miscommunication, it seemed like, from even the people in the corner around the strategy of the Barrios fight for what they wanted to do against Manny Pacquiao. And let's just say I heard from sources there were a lot of frustrations that came out of that fight with how Barrios went into that fight, how he performed in that fight, and how directions were listened to from either one side or the other. It felt like it was a bit of a confusing thing. So when you have that kind of a situation, you feel like you need to make a move. One person's going to get left out in the dust, and it's probably not someone that's either.
Garcia's trainer projects confidence, especially around discipline and weight. The message is clear. This isn't the same Ryan. Once the mind locks in, the body follows. A move to 140 pounds isn't reckless. It's calculated. According to performance trends, fighters who cut comfortably preserve explosiveness. This signals planning, not impulse.
Our strength and conditioning coach will lock it in. Ryan will lock it in, and we're back to 140. Solid. But that's a strong possibility. I'm not kidding you. I am not kidding you. And we talked about that.
It changes things.
Yeah. And I mean this. 100% sincerely, that we could make 140.
Because when you guys fought Haney, you guys were not necessarily you guys, but he was drinking, he was doing all these other things that.
Exactly. Yeah. Forget about that and forget about the Rolly, because I'm telling you, that was not Ryan. This is Ryan. You're going to see Ryan. This is going to be Ryan. And you're going to say, man, he looks good. His weight is good. And his strength is unbelievable.
There's accountability here, and that matters. Admitting the Haney camp lacked focus reframes the narrative from denial to correction. Psychologically, fans trust fighters who own mistakes more than those who rewrite them. A leaner frame, better stamina, controlled power. These aren't promises, they're checkpoints. The calm confidence suggests readiness, not hype.
Not too far off from 140. So there's a strong possibility without rehydration calls, we could probably drop down to 140 with no problem.
And make the fight happen at 40 instead.
Absolutely. And
then you guys can rehydrate whatever you guys want from there.
I mean, listen, this is another thing that I've been seeing, and this is kind of interesting, is that, you got to rehydrate, of course, absolutely. Now, how far you can rehydrate? I would love to be over 7-8 pounds. Some go 10, some go 12, some even go 15, but they do rehydrate. But when you're in shape, in total fitness, I think the most you could hydrate is 7 or 8 pounds. I'm not kidding you. When you're in
Teen analysts urge restraint. And they're right. Training clips are theater. 15 seconds can't simulate 12 rounds. Historically, highlight-heavy camps often mask fatigue, conditioning gaps, and weight stress. This lands because fans have been fooled before. Real preparation is boring, repetitive, and invisible. Anything else is marketing.
10-second, 15-second clips. Because Ryan very well could have had similar clips before the Rolly fight, but then he ends up losing to Rolly in New York. So for me, when I see sparring clips or brief edited clips online, I don't necessarily factor that in too much into what is to be the outcome, because the fact of the matter is, for Mario Barrios, I haven't really seen many clips from him at all. So training footage is very selective by nature. You're usually going to see the best moments plucked out, highlights, specific drills, things that would make someone look good. They don't really tell the full story about conditioning, weight cutting, or readiness. But what it does or can give you is an overall, like a snapshot of where the fighter is mentally, physically. Ryan does look like he's in good.
The Romero loss proves the point. Garcia looked electric on tape until reality intervened. Barrios, by contrast, remains mostly unseen, and that uncertainty cuts both ways. Still, the clips reveal mindset. Garcia looks focused, serious, present. But Barrios is durable, large, and experienced. Observation isn't prediction. The ring decides everything.
Pretty much looking forward to the fight. I think Ryan Garcia really needs to impress here because he's coming off of a loss to Rolando Romero. And we all know in the world of boxing that back-to-back losses can really drive you down the ladder. So I am enjoying what I'm seeing regarding Ryan Garcia as he gears up for this particular fight. Ryan Garcia, his discipline has been in question in the past, but right now it looks like he's trying to really make a statement. He posted this via his official social media. This is Ryan's page, evident by the blue check mark. Quote, "Maybe you aren't my speed. Some shots throughout camp, the finish line is..."
This fight carries legacy weight. Boxing doesn't survive on belts alone. It survives on names. According to viewership trends, recognizable fighters drive casual engagement and long-term investment. If Garcia wins and ascends to champion status, the sport gains a bridge to younger audiences. This isn't favoritism. It's ecosystem math.
Ryan Garcia does become a world champion. It just makes it more interesting. Legacy reigns supreme. I said the last year that coming into 2026, to sustain the sport of boxing, to captivate the imagination, the emotions, and the interest of the boxing fans and casuals outside of the sport of boxing, we need the names versus the names. Relevant versus relevant. We need people that people recognize. We need the fans to recognize these names and they will be interested. Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Garcia beating Mario Barrios is good for the sport of boxing. It's good for this young generation because let's be real, let's be honest. Mario Barrios is not going to cut it and keep the interest of the sport of boxing. He hasn't done it. He's been in big fights and he have not seized the moment. No, you Dennis Ugas, yeah, but it didn't seize the moment. We need interest. Ladies and gentlemen, American boxing is dying. A lot of people's not investing in American boxing.
Barrios has experience, but not defining moments. Garcia has mainstream gravity. History shows boxing thrives when talent and identity collide. Critics may argue popularity shouldn't matter. And ethically, it shouldn't, but economically, it does. Legacy fuels relevance. Champions who resonate keep the sport alive.
Netflix is just going to give you this events here and there. Maybe they'll give us Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao too. But at the end of the day, everybody has abandoned American boxing. And the only way we get these investors back into the American landscape, we got to do what we did out there at Madison Square Garden in New York City this past weekend when we saw Shakur Stevenson beat Teofimo Lopez. Sold out crowd. Why was a sold out crowd? Because it was name versus a name. People recognize both names, tri-state area, right? Teofimo Lopez never did it sold out or even come close to selling out a big arena. Shakur Stevenson didn't come close to selling out.
So here we are. Preparation versus experience. Structure versus confidence. Reality versus expectation. If this trend continues, this fight won't just define a winner, it will define direction. And that's where the story gets uncomfortable, because when the bell rings, there are no narratives left to hide behind.